Hello everyone, Derek Johnson with Tatango.com. It is 3 p.m. on the West Coast and T-Mobile on Friday. T-Mobile just announced a new policy that is going into effect immediately. So if you are running an e-commerce site and you're using text messaging for notifications for shopping cart reminders, so if you go to a website like this and you type in your phone number, but then let's say you leave without completing the purchase, what has become very, very popular is these websites texting you saying, hey, come back. You were so close to, finishing that purchase. We had some of your info. We want to complete the purchase. Why? Well, text messaging gets a 99% open rate. 90% of text messages are open within 3 minutes. It is very, very effective. So a lot of e-commerce companies have started using this to their advantage. Now, when that happens, usually the carriers take note. This time T-Mobile has took note, and they are putting in some kind of guardrails and rules and policies that are going to go into effect immediately for these types of text messages. So first off, I'm going to read it, and I've only had a little bit of chance. I wanted to get this out before the end of the day. I'm going to read it from here, and then I'm going to show you kind of what is right and wrong about what I have on the screen here, which is just a random brand that I took from the web. So first off, the call to action on the website must include within the opt-in terms and condition details, so this kind of stuff down here, must include message program, must include shopping cart reminder. So it's essentially saying that, because if you read it down here, consent is not a condition of purchase. By checking this box, I consent to receive marketing messages by text message at the number provided, view our terms of service, privacy policy. You now need to, if you want to do shopping cart reminders, you now need to include in there and make it clear to the consumer that by opting in, they're going to be receiving, and they use the term here, shopping cart reminders. So, if the carrier is using that term, that's the term that I would use. So here it would have to say, consent to receive marketing messages and shopping cart reminders, from X brand. So that's the first kind of change. Now, also knowing kind of the wireless carriers, we work with them all the time. They do say call to action, but then they say the terms and conditions. This is the terms and conditions down here. This is the call to action, though. I would assume that they would not approve something if it didn't also include in here the shopping cart reminders, because it says receive news, tips, and offers, via text message. You can't exclude that you're going to be sending them shopping cart reminders. So I would advise most e-commerce companies to say receive news, tips, shopping cart reminders, and offers via text message. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, shopping cart text message program must include a double opt-in mechanism via text. So this means that if you want to do a shopping cart reminder, you have to get the consumer to obviously check the box, put in their phone number, and then either by clicking continue to shipping, or if you want to add some kind of new functionality into your form, the consumer then must receive a text message to their phone. And it can't be, the shopping cart reminder. It has to be a double opt-in confirmation message that requires the consumer to reply yes or maybe Y to the message to essentially opt in to receive the news, the tips, the offers, and the shopping cart reminders. Okay. Number three, again, it goes back to the double opt-in message. Double opt-in message content, so in the text message, must clearly inform the user that the message program includes shopping cart reminders. Okay, so this is similar to kind of down here in the terms and conditions. So when I put my phone number into this website and I get the message that says, opt in for news, tips, offers, shopping cart reminders, it needs to say shopping cart reminders in that double opt-in message. So it can't just say, reply yes to confirm your phone number. It has to say reply yes to confirm your phone number and opt in for shopping cart reminders. That's pretty much what it says. So those are the general requirements. There's a couple additional privacy policy disclosures. I'm not going to read those. Those are pretty, tell your consumers in your privacy how you're tracking them. Terms and conditions must reflect the new policy. It kind of makes sense. Then it gets into some interesting stuff here. Delivery and content restrictions. So text reminders must be sent within a 48-hour period. And this one, I think, is going to be the big one for e-commerce companies. And limited to one per unique abandoned cart. Okay, so let me break this down here. Text reminders, or the shopping cart reminders, you cannot send them after 48 hours. So if I abandon my cart right now, I could not send, this person a message on Monday or Tuesday. It has to be within a 48-hour window of the cart abandonment. Okay, that's number one. This one I think is really going to affect e-commerce companies. One alert per unique abandoned cart. So I know a lot of retailers right now, when you put in your phone number, you're receiving one message, then you're receiving two messages, then three messages, then four messages. Essentially, you're getting messaged until you go back to the website or you tell them to stop. That no longer can be the case, according to this new T-Mobile policy. You can only send one message, one message, per unique abandonment. So if they come in, I guess, and they abandon the cart, then they come back again, they abandon another one, you could then send one message about the first abandonment, one message about the second abandonment, but let's say on the second abandonment, you can't send a message every 24 hours to that person. You can only send one message, and that one message has to be within that 48-hour window. So some pretty strict guidelines there. Okay, this one's interesting too. Abandoned cart notification. So I guess, they're using abandoned cart notification or abandoned cart reminder. So I'm guessing you could use either which one on your website. Must not result in the e-commerce site completing the transaction on behalf of the consumer. So abandoned cart notifications must not collect payment information, via text message, you can't ask them for their credit card to complete the transaction. Or, this is one's interesting, or accept approval for purchase via keyword confirmation from the consumer. So this means also you can't, let's say they had a profile with a credit card on file and they get to this step and they kind of abandon. You can't message them and say, hey, all you need to do is reply yes, and we'll complete the transaction with your credit card on file. That's no longer allowed. Consumer must complete transaction by processing payment themselves via direct URL link to an e-commerce site. So essentially what they're saying is, no replying with your credit card to complete the purchase, no reply yes, to complete the purchase if the credit card's on file. The only thing that is allowed is a direct URL, a URL in the message that says, click this to go and complete your transaction. So it has to be done on the mobile web. The reason they're doing this is the carriers just don't want to be liable for transactions going along, the SMS kind of channel. They want to push it onto the mobile web. That's not their problem. So very interesting. So just as a recap, that's pretty much it. Again, this goes into effect immediately. T-Mobile. Also with the wireless carriers, and the industry, if T-Mobile makes it kind of a rule, it essentially applies to everybody because T-Mobile represents so many, wireless consumers, and you really can't segment out your web traffic, and not show things to T-Mobile customers and show things to AT&T. So when one of these wireless carriers, especially the big guys, they announce something or put a new rule in, it pretty much applies to all of your text messaging efforts. So kind of a recap here. Number one, you have to disclose to people, unlike what they're doing here, that you are going to receive, by putting in your phone number and checking that box, you're going to receive shopping cart reminders. Then when you click continue to shopping, or if you have some kind of box here or something like, activate or something, then you would get a text message. And when they say double opt-in, that means right away. You have to send the text message right away. You would get a double opt-in message. you would have to reply Y to that message, to opt in for both news, tips, offers, and the shopping cart reminders. And in that reply Y message, you have to make it very clear that by replying Y, they're going to get those shopping cart notifications. Then, after that, you can only send one message per kind of transaction, and that message has to be within 48 hours of the person abandoning the cart. And then some of the other stuff, kind of more complex. You can't collect credit cards via text message. You can't have them reply yes to the abandonment message and complete the purchase for them. So a lot of information here. It'll be interesting to see how this shakes out and maybe some of the response from the rest of the industry on this, because I know this is going to impact a ton of brands using e-commerce websites right now and collecting phone numbers and using this kind of shopping cart reminder feature. So anyway, if there's any questions, let me know. Drop a comment below in the comments. We'll do our best to decipher this and to let you know if there's any more updates. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tatango. Again, my name is Derek Johnson with Tatango.com. This has been an update on the new T-Mobile policy, which goes into effect immediately. It is Friday, about 3 p.m. on the West Coast. Goes into effect immediately and is impacting shopping cart reminder text messages. Thanks, everyone.